Hi, I'm Dr. Joe DeMarco, chiropractor and owner of OcraMed Health, streaming live today like we have been doing on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today we're going to talk about building core strength. Before we do, just wanted to touch base on our Guinness World Record attempt there from the 25th of May. With as many of you know, we the 8-hour record and the 12-hour record we did for 8 hours. I performed 15,261 push ups, which was more than the previous record of 14,444. And then we ended the event. The previous 12-hour record was 20,085. And I believe we ended up at 21,008. So those right now are unofficial records. We're actually in the process of submitting everything to Guinness for a final verification. I know we've had the live stream up of that event. People, while many of you have been very supportive, I think that video has like a 93% like to dislike. We've still been kind of like dealing with some funny comments. Everyone's a push-up expert, and I just wanted to clarify a couple things. One is that the Guinness standard for push-ups on an event like that is a 90-degree bend of the elbows. And when that takes place, because a lot of people comment, well, they're not real push-ups if your chest doesn't hit the floor. Well, when you bend your elbows at 90, your chest is still pretty far from the floor. And it doesn't have to be, if I'm doing push-ups, just because this has come up several times, if I'm doing push-ups as part of my normal training or part of my normal workout, say it's chest day and I want to do some push-ups, I do full range of motion push-ups, of course. I will lower my chest to the ground, I'll extend all the way up. But when you're doing 12 hours, you just want to meet the Guinness standard of push-ups, which is just a 90-degree bend. And actually, they require a push out, but your elbows don't have to be fully locked out either. So a lot of people don't understand that, and they watch a few, reps, and then we get all these people that are sitting on a couch commenting, on how, we're not doing them correctly or whatever. So, anyways, just wanted to address that point. So, but today we're talking about core strength. It's always a big topic. How do you build your core? How do you strengthen your core? How people associate, of course, a strong core with having a six pack of abs, and I wanted to address a few things. So, first off, one of the best ways to build core strength, and I know a lot of times as soon as you say the word core, people start thinking sit-ups, and that's like, if you're doing a lot of sit-ups, you have a great core, and that's not that's not the whole the that's not really the truth. One of the best ways to build a strong core is actually to do a lot of kind of like your basic weightlifting exercises. A lot of people don't realize that a really strong core is built up by performing motions such as squats, deadlifts, standing shoulder presses. All those motions, you're working your core and a lot of those deep core muscles to stabilize your body while you perform those motions. You can't squat or perform a heavy squat without bracing your core, and by that continuous bracing of your core when you're doing squats, when you're doing every rep that you do of a deadlift, every rep you're bracing the core, and by doing repetition after repetition, you build a lot of core strength. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think, like I said, if you're not doing a sit-up, that's how you build, because they think of core as just the abs. But your core strength is built up on a lot of basic weightlifting movements, not weightlifting movements where you're sitting in a a chair with like a pin machine where you change. I'm talking about your basic movements, the things where you have to you're standing up, and you're pressing weight over your head, or you're squatting with weight on your back. When you do those movements, you're actually say if I was going to do a squat and I have the weight on my back, before I descend down, you actually should be taking that deep breath in, and belly breathes with a weight, with the abdomen all the way around, the sides, the front expands out, and so that you have that pressure in there as you come down. You want to have that pressure, and then you make your exhale at the end of the rep coming back up. But that's stabilizing, and it doesn't matter whether you're wearing a belt or not. Sometimes people will say, well, if you want to build a strong core, you don't want to wear a weight belt. That's not always necessarily true either. Uh, if you're performing a lot of light work, you probably don't need a belt. But if you start getting up into heavier squats, heavier deadlifts, and things like that, actually, a belt is helpful for building core strength, because when you have that belt on, and you actually take that breath in, you actually can expand your midsection, and it presses into that belt, and it really like works the core muscles. You expand it out, it kind of gets pressed into that belt. Then you do your descent and your rep, and whether it's squats or deadlifts or anything like that. So wearing a belt is not bad for your core. It actually is helpful. I know anytime I'm doing heavy squats, heavy deadlifts, I wear a belt. I may not do it on my lighter sets, but anytime I get into my heavier sets, I wear a belt, and it's helpful, and it's not bad. It's not a bad thing to do, and it's going to help build core strength. So anyways, keep that in mind when next time you're working out. The Can you see if you can find if there's any questions? I don't know if you can pull this
There's
up.
a couple people talking.
Oh, okay. Um, so next time you're working out, keep that in mind that core strength is built from free weights, from working with free weights, and it's a great way to build your core just throughout the week. So, all right, so we're doing that for core strength. Also, um, of course, there's other ways to target your core, and that gets back into the muscles involving the core, which is your abdominal region, your erector muscles of your back, and all those type of muscles. Um, So someone's asking, belts prevent injuries such as hernias, right? I mean, it's not something that's, it's not going to make you bulletproof wearing a belt, but it does help if you're doing heavy work. The belt is I think is, some people may disagree. I think a belt is very helpful and will prevent, an injury such as a hernia. That's hard to say because but I find that it's helpful. I mean, it's like you can expand that midsection. You can play around with this on a belt. Like put your weightlifting belt on, and then just take that breath in, and that belly breath in, where you expand that midsection, and feel it press into that belt, and it makes for a real stable structure. It makes that midsection. I did a video on this a while back. It was funny. We actually did a video on squatting and how to breathe properly. And what I use is a demo, and I thought it was kind of an interesting demonstration. But I took a bar and I put it on top of an empty orange juice carton. And the first thing I did was I put the bar across the orange juice carton with the box full of air. I blew in the air. I put the cover on. I put the bar, and the one box, an orange juice box, was able to hold my barbell. Then what I did was I took the orange juice container, and I got the air out of it, and I put the barbell in, and the barbell crushed the orange juice box. And that's because of the fact that, like, when you're about to squat, you want to take in that breath, and it makes your core strong. And if you don't, it's like that orange juice container with no air in it. The barbell will crush it. So it's a good little demonstration of how that works. Let's see before we get into a couple of things.
Puerto Rico said thank you.
You're welcome. Can someone have a hernia around the hip? Hernias can pop up in different spots. And so you can have a real lower abdominal hernia right in the pelvic region. So when you mean around the hip, that could be because, when you're getting into that lower area, the groin area, you can have actually the hernia could be down there. It can be up higher, of course, also. But a lot of times weightlifters can get it down near the pelvic area, near the groin area. And, if you do, I mean, that's something that unfortunately hernias will not, and I've looked into the research on this. I've read hernias will not, do not appear to heal themselves. That's something that you're going to need to get some attention for, and they may probably more than likely, if it's bothering you, they're going to have to make a repair on that. So, uh, let's
We got
see.
a Nan said congrats on the world record. Showing age is just a number.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to be 58 in September, so that was one of my reasons for wanting to do that, was just to show people that age is just a number. You eat right, you take care of yourself, you train hard. I mean, I didn't feel 57 when I was doing those push-ups. I mean, I didn't feel, you know, a lot of people my age were telling me I was crazy for even trying it, but I don't feel that age. I don't even like to think of that number because I don't feel that old. And when I was doing it, I felt like I was a kid. Um, so getting back to a little core work. So besides the core work with the actual weight training, of course, we want to work the abdominal area. I mean, obviously, that's a big part of keeping core strength. What's some of the best stuff to do? I think, plank work is great to do to build up core strength. The thing with a plank, and the one knock I have on when people are doing planks is that I just feel like sometimes people just overdo it and they try to hold it too long. So if you're in that plank position, it's a great way to build that core strength. But with that being said, if you're in the plank, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, once you feel that buttock area and the midsection area starts to give way and it starts to sway and you start to lose that tight position, that's when you got to call. That's when you stop the plank. People get injured on the plank, they hurt their lower backs, they strain their abdominal area, but it's because they're just holding it for too long. So that's like the kind of like my cue. In other words, if I get into a plank, I don't care whether you're holding it for 30 seconds or 30 minutes. Once that back starts to sway, that's the end of your plank. Like, it doesn't do you any good to keep trying to fight through that swaying of the back. It's just a way of getting hurt. So planks are definitely a kind of a good overall core exercise. I find most abdominal work, whether it's sit-ups, and of course, when I say sit-ups, I always tell people, don't stick your feet under a like a sofa or under your bench and do sit-ups with your legs braced. You put a lot of stress into your hip flexors. So when you're working abs, I never put my feet underneath anything and do sit-ups. I keep them free. I like doing for core work. I feel like doing toes to bar where you're hanging and bring your toes up. I feel like that's like an overall, midsection exercise, lower abs, upper abs, sides. So that's one of my favorite go-to also for core work is toes to bar. I like to even just get on my back and come up and bring my toes up and my hands and do like toe touches. So you do like V ups. I like doing V ups for core work, and then of course besides and this is stuff I like to do. I like to do that type of work every day. I leave 10-15 minutes for my workout for core work. I will do some form of abdominal work every day. So I don't spend a long time each day, but I do spend like 10 minutes a day every day doing something. I just mix up all the exercises. I'll do something different the next day. If one day I'm doing 10 minutes of toes to bar, the next day I'll do 10 minutes of V ups. Sometimes I just pick one exercise and just run with it. Then, of course, you want to make sure you hit the other end. You got your back muscles, your erector muscles, such a common like weak area on people. As a chiropractor, I see such weak erector muscles on people. You want those erector muscles like tree trunks. Those they should be just thick muscles. When your erector muscles are nice and thick, you should have like it almost like your lumbar spine looks like it's set in. It's like sunken in because the erector muscles around it are so thick. And you want that thickness in there. And you get that thickness from doing some of your basic movements like deadlifts and squats and building up those erector muscles. When you have weak erector muscles, you have a weak core, and you're susceptible to back injury. So, besides doing your squats and your deadlifts, you want to do movements where we did a video on this. It's one of our more popular ones where we use the TheraBall, and you're on the TheraBall and you come up with the shoulders back and forth, and then you get back on the ball and you come up with the legs back and forth. But those are the type of movements that will work those erector muscles, movements where your body's in a pike and then you extend out like that, and that'll work those back muscles. So those are like key muscles to keep firing and to keep strong back there. And once again, it's something that I try to work frequently also. So we can target some of those specific core muscles, but we also work on when we're weightlifting, and it's something that working core once a week is not enough. It's not. I mean, especially as we get a little older, you got to work it all the time. You have to work, focus in on that, keeping that core strong. It's one of the best ways to protect yourself from injuries, from the feeling. As we get older, we get some arthritic changes. You want to keep going at 50, 60, 70 years old. Keep the muscles strong. It'll offset any arthritic changes you're getting. Strong muscles will always offset it. So let me see. I think I had a couple other things. Any
Aaron wants to know advice on a tennis elbow.
tennis elbow? Yeah, a little off topic. That's okay. I checked my channel. I did a very extensive video on tennis elbow on the channel. I think that's just the name of it. It was just, I think it's like everything you want to know about tennis elbow. It was like might be like an 18-minute video. So it went over targeting which muscles to do some faster release work on. I went over some exercises for it. But basically tennis elbows when it's on the outside, and golfer's elbows when the pain is on the inside. So there's different tendons in there, and the ones on the tendon on the outside on what we call the lateral epicondyle is the tennis elbow one. But check out that video. It goes into detail as far as like what muscles to release and do faster release work on, and which muscles to strengthen. So that's probably be the best way to go about it. But if it isn't getting any better, tennis elbow can be a problem. It's one of those injuries where it's a tendonitis. It can go on and on and on for a while. And at that point, if it's not getting better, I mean, you definitely want to seek some therapy for it. Sometimes that'll accelerate the process of getting it better. And then the number one thing to get those type of injuries better is, besides the work that you're doing on it or the therapy you're getting on your elbow, you have to avoid what's irritating it. Any tendonitis injury, the main thing that I see patients, that the reason it'll take a long time to fix it is that they keep going back and doing the same exercise, the same thing over and over again. And every time you do it, it sets you back 2 weeks. And so you go on this like roller coaster of like, it gets a little better, then it gets a little worse, it gets a little better. And the best way to get it done quickly is to just avoid a problem. Like, in the gym, sometimes like even something like a lateral raise will irritate the outside of the elbow. So I tell people, like, just stop doing a lateral raise for a few weeks. You're better off skipping something for 3 weeks than turning this injury into a 3-month injury, like, or stop playing tennis for 3 weeks so that it's not a 3 or 4 month injury. Sometimes it's better to just avoid the activity that's giving it the problem so that you can heal quicker and get back to what you want to do. So, um, let's see. Can you recommend, this is from Ivan, can you recommend a YouTube channel that focuses on good core work? That's a good question. Not off the top of my head. I mean, there's so many channels um, that put out core exercises. I mean, if you went on YouTube and just typed in core exercises, you'd probably get a long list of various channels doing various core exercises. I mean, my channel would probably pop up too. I mean, we have over the years now, I've put out a bunch of different channels. I mean, different videos on different ways to work your core, your abs. Whether it's with an ab roller, toes to bar, planks. Not too long ago, we did I think 9 different types of planks. You might want to check that video out for your core work. I think I demonstrated like 9 different types of 9 plank variations. That's a great video to watch for strengthening your core. Side planks, all these different planks we did a video on. Uh, so besides my channel, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you just searched out core exercises on YouTube, it'd be a ton of them. Uh, and let's see. Oh, he's gonna check out that. Yeah, check out that tennis elbow video. So I think that's about it. Did I miss any questions? I don't think I missed any questions.
No.
Um,
Link that tennis elbow video in the chat.
yeah, we can do it after, right? I
Yeah,
can.
you could link it right now.
Oh, how do we do that? I'm gonna see if I can link that tennis elbow one.
Search it.
Oh, I'll see if I can link that tennis elbow video up. Um, we'll just take it like that.
Yeah, search for.
Hold on a second. Tennis elbow. Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, and just click it and copy paste the link.
I'm gonna put that link up. Share, right? Copy. And then where can I put it?
It's in the chat.
Oh, right here.
Mhm.
How do you do Control
V.
Control V?
Command V.
Oh, Control right here, right?
Now do a Command V. That one, yeah. There you go.
There's that video on tennis elbow. Hope that helps. So in the coming weeks, we got some videos coming up. I'm trying to. I'm gonna do some videos on kind of rebuilding. I spent 8 or 9 months doing a lot of getting away from some heavy weight training and because we were doing so many push-ups and all the training was based around push-ups and I'm kind of like retraining my body a little bit. So I'm going to do some videos on kind of like getting back into weightlifting shape and got a couple other so we're going to kind of get back to focusing in on injuries, treating different injuries. If you have any suggestions for injuries you want covered, just leave some comments and I'll cover some injuries in some upcoming videos. And we're going to get back into some more. We've kind of gotten away from some weight training videos just because I wasn't doing as much weight training recently. So anyways, Uh, I hope.
Sangman Fury just said that
Oh,
walking is the best medicine for humans.
can't disagree with that.
Hmm.
Try to go for a walk. Yeah, hey, walking's awesome. Anything, always try to get in your, some type of cardio, walking, biking, little running here and there is good. Anything, keep that cardio up, get the blood flowing every single day. So we're gonna head out. So I hope you enjoyed today's live stream. We'll be back next Saturday at 4 p.m. We're actually going to be turning this live stream into a podcast, and we're going to try to get some guests on. My main focus for guests is going to be for people like myself, over 50 that have accomplished some different things, different Guinness records, powerlifting records, things like that. We want to try to get guests on like that, uh, and have them on in the upcoming weeks. So we're going to be turning this more into like a podcast. So, anyways, if you haven't done so subscribe to my channel, OcraMed Health. Any other questions following up today? Just leave a comment in the comment section down below. In a little while, I'll get back to people if you have any other questions. And you're welcome, Ivan. I appreciate your comments too. So, and don't forget, OcraMed Health is here to keep you fit forever.